Thank you for joining me for Emotions in You and the Power of Regret. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening. And I pray that you will open your heart to hear something that might perhaps encourage you or strengthen you in some way that you haven't been encouraged and strengthened in a different way. And so this is my intention, to help you grow and mature in the areas where perhaps you're undeveloped, in the place where love lives. See, we need to be loving ourselves completely, unlimited, unconditionally. And there are some reasons why we don't. And one of the reasons we don't is because we carry with us regret. And there is power in regret. There's power in it. And so I want to talk about memories. How memories impact us, and how memories carry regret, and how we train ourselves and reinforce. We reinforce regret without realizing it. And so I want to give you a couple examples. I know some folks, it's been a few hot years, man. It's been some years. But I recall some situations with, there had been some death in family. And there was deep mourning. And I understand the power of mourning. I understand the deep mourning place. But it was such a mark inside their life. Now look, this could be the mourning of someone who's passed away. It could be the mourning of a job. It could be the mourning of missing something. You missed something. You missed an opportunity. And somehow inside of you, you grab a hold of regretting it. So this person had such deep regret because they had not developed this relationship with the person who passed away. And so every year, not just every year, but like every week, this person would go to this other person's gravestone and they would sit there for several hours and just reminisce and reinforce the life they never lived together. Because he was so full of regret for what they had not said, what they had not done, for what they had not experienced, for the life that he felt like she should have lived, and she was, died prematurely. That what happened is he spent all his time talking with this person that no longer was alive, whether he was talking to the person or whether he was talking to the memory, it doesn't matter. The weekly visitation of reinforcing the loss of what would never be took place for years. Years. So what does that mean? That means years went by in this man's life where they had no joy. They had nothing to look forward to. They had no new goals, no new friendships, no new relationships. And why? Because all the time was being spent in remaining in the place with the person who'd passed away. I know other situations where every year they continue. Listen, and this may work for some, but if it stops you from moving forward in life, it's not the best plan for you. It's not your highest good. It's not your highest space to live. There's some that every year on the birthday of their friend that passed, their animal that passed, their parent that passed, their spouse that passed, they celebrate that person's birthday. They spend a full day every year reminiscing on the past. Now, If you're reminiscing on the past, but you're continuing to move forward in the present and you're being present, that's different. But if all you look forward to after you have this birthday party for someone who's already passed away is to look forward to the next birthday party a year later where you can celebrate them again, then there's something perhaps that might need to be tweaked a little bit. Now, hear me, hear my heart. I'm saying consider some of the decisions you've made and why you've made them. And are they preventing you from growing? Are they preventing you from living forward? Are they preventing you from finding peace and contentment where you are right now? Or are they stunting you in some way because you've reinforced it so much? So those are like memories, the remembrance of someone, the remembrance of something. I know someone who tragically lost their job, and their job was everything to them. They were so happy in their job. It was really like their identity. And it happened suddenly, and there was no way, no like time to think about it. It just was, that was the way it was. And because this person found so much joy and so much peace and so much contentment and so much life in that job, when that job went away, it's like their life ended. And even though there are other extenuating circumstances regarding evolving around that situation, when that person continues now 20 years later to think about that job, it's always with sadness. It's always with, wow, I miss that. I miss that. I miss that. Why? Because it was identity. It wasn't just a job they went to every day. It was their community. It was their friendships. And you know, those friendships did not follow that person. And so the time they spent 10 hours a day serving, getting paid, when that ended, it's like their life ended. And the memory of it, when it comes up, it's just with sadness now, even though the years they spent there were happy. The years they spent there, they were filled with excitement because it was their community and they were really good at their job, right? But the loss of it is the stumbling that took place because of the loss of it. Also, I give another example. You know, our mom passed around 43 years ago. Actually, July 14th will be 43 years. And, you know, she was my best friend. I was 18 when it took place. So in my brain at the time, you know, I'm like, God gives, God takes away. I didn't really do any mourning. Not really. I didn't cry for 12 years after that. Because I was avoiding that situation. Avoiding having the deep pain and deep sorrow that comes. The deep pain and deep sorrow that comes when you face a loss. And so for me, you know, 12 years later, I'm realizing that I had zero connection with that person that passed away. After that, I just sliced it off and went on because I did not want to face the pain. I didn't want to face the deal. I didn't want to face the regrets. Let me tell you something. I had some regrets. The few summers prior to our mom passing, I spent working away in the summers at a place called Astro World. I was gone all summer long. And I did not have that time when I could have had that time with my mom. I did not have that time with my mom. So when I came into a place where I was willing to mourn, where I was willing to face her being gone, when I was willing to see it, willing to face it, I was filled with nothing but regret because of not prioritizing my time. Now, I was a kid. I get it. 14, 15, 16 years old. I get it. But still, your adult person is like, wow, I just didn't know she would be gone. And another regret, I'm sharing personal, intimate stuff. Another regret I had when I really, truly faced it was when I graduated. You know, she waited till I graduated to pass away. She wanted to see me graduate. She had something to look forward to. When I graduated, I saw her in the wheelchair, but I didn't go and hug her neck when I'm coming down the, we're all walking. It was outside a ceremony. We're all walking and we're going to, sit in the stands or in the chairs or whatever. And I saw her and I regret not stopping and jumping out of line to go hug her because I was so like, okay, we're just going to do this. I regret that. And there is one other thing I regret. I don't have a lot of regrets, but these were significant regrets for me. The other thing I regretted is that I wanted Mom. I think it was about water. Oh, she was really tired one day. Listen, I'm being gut honest here. She was really tired. And my dad had convinced himself that he did not want her to get hooked on pain pills, so he wouldn't give her pain pills. Ridiculous. Anyway, he wouldn't give her pain pills. So I'm hearing some of this in the back of my mind, and I'm wanting her to live, and I'm not facing that she's dying. And listen, not everybody, this was years ago, years and years and years ago, okay? Things are different now. There has been a lot more regulation regarding treatment and things of that nature. And so things are much different now. But then it was in the beginning days when they didn't really know what they were doing with regards to how much or how little they used radiation and chemo and all those things. And so I'm looking at my mom and she's thirsty. And I have the audacity to say, well, why don't you get up and get it yourself? Yeah. Instead of serving my mom. Now, I did serve my mom. I showered her. I washed her. I bathed her. And she was a skinny, scrawny thing. And I lived with my mom and dad, and it was painful. The reason I'm sharing that with you, those are deep regrets that I didn't really even face till long after, when I actually faced her passing, because I didn't face it immediately. I regret not facing it immediately, to be honest. I regret that. I do. Because my life went into an absolute uproar after that. And when you don't know who you are and where you are and what you're doing, a lot of shenanigans come forth. And they certainly came forth in my life for the next 30 years, 20 years. So the power of that regret was it was lodged inside of me. And I so much deep sorrow that was lodged inside of me because I did not, it's like something inside me didn't want to let go of even the sorrow, because then I was letting go of my mom. And isn't that a little twisted? Isn't that why my precious friend would go visit every week the gravestone? Because they didn't want to let go of the person. Maybe it was a place thinking there was dishonor involved doing that. I don't, it can go really, really deep. And so, but that kept me from finding any kind of joy, because I was trapped in sorrow. I was trapped in pain. I was trapped in regret. The power of regret, it kept me from having a happy marriage. It kept me from finding a role or a job that would suit me. it kept me from really having a relationship with God that I knew could be healthy, but I avoided it because I did not want to come face to face with my regret, my pain, my anger, my sorrow, all that jazz. The other thing, I have a little list. The other thing is your mindset. So let's talk for a moment. Take all of that. Take it. Look at it. Whether it was the loss of a person, loss of a job, loss of a spouse, loss of a role in life, loss of opportunities, loss of your own health. Maybe you're in a space where you don't think whatever it is that's been lost could ever be recovered, or you don't think you could ever have a new day because of the loss was so great. So look at all that, and we want to look at that, and we want to have a new mindset on that. You cannot be afraid to look at your past. Now, I want to share with you, when I did face my mom's passing, it was about, I started to face it about 12 years later, but then I faced the trauma that was inside my body later. And I remember when I was looking at that, where I realized and I recognized that I had so much of her inside of me. She had a poverty mindset that I never recognized when I was growing up, because, we just grow up. She had she was very, very wise and very, very smart, but she just had a lot of loss that framed her, that we grew up under. And for me, she was perfect. I just thought she was perfect. I would have never thought anything was wrong with my mom. But when I faced the pain I had and the reality that I was holding on to her, meant I was also holding on to her poverty. I was holding on to her depression. I was holding on also to sickness, her sickness. I was holding on to some of her decisions that she had made to remain in a depressed and despaired place. Because that's kind of, we grew up in a house she called the dungeon. So, when now this may not be your story, but it might be, and you may not realize it because I didn't know. But when I realized, wow, I am unwilling to look at this sorrow because I don't want to break this relationship I have with my mom. Now, she's gone, but I did not want to lose anything about her. And that meant I kept her regardless of how it trapped me. And when I saw it, I was very afraid. I thought, well, I can't let go of this because then I'm letting go of my mom. Will I ever feel her again? I don't even recognize her voice now. And I have her voice on a little cassette. So some of the things that we are unwilling to face, and some of the regrets we hold, literally trap us so deeply that we don't realize that's why we have some of the mindset we have. That's why we hold on to what we hold on to. That's why we keep those. I was just telling someone the other day, I'm like, why is it that I hold on to all this paper? I have containers of paper up in my attic. I mean, seriously, it's amusing. I have all my manuscripts, all of my manuscripts. I have articles I've written. Some of those things you're supposed to keep, but I have lots of paper, like paper, because I came from the paper generation, right? I was like one of the, I had a brand new printer that was this big, for goodness sakes, literally, with perforated edges. So I know that's part of it, but it's like, why do I why do I cling to it? Why do I have things in my attic that bear no fruit? Why is it? Some of those things are memories. I'm keeping what's appropriate to keep. But some of those things are not. Matter of fact, I'll show you something I'm keeping. Let me show you something I'm keeping. I'm not keeping everything. But my mother made this for me when I was, I believe, 12 years old. It says, love, Mom. Look at this. Is this not precious? My mom drew that for me. And that, yes, that is a placemat. I'm going to mat and frame this because this makes me happy. This brings me joy. But when you are holding on to things that do not give you joy, when you are holding on to things that literally fill you with regret, then you are holding on to emotions that are keeping you trapped and that you will not be able to walk out of until you let them go. It was my 11th. I just see it on the back. Anyway, so I'm holding on to this. This makes me happy. You know what? We also have a picture of my dad in the 40s. I will go get it, but a picture of him with 100 other men that were being deployed, you know, one of those group pictures. But I'm not keeping that. Not because it makes me regret or anything. It's because it's a World War II picture. I think that should go in a World War II museum because I can't look at it every day. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't fill me with joy. My dad has been gone for 25 years, and I did not even know him. It wasn't even a thought in his mindset when that picture was taken. So it's okay that I let go of that. Sometimes we hold on to things that are holding on to us, and we don't know why we are trapped. We don't know why we can't move forward. So some of those things are literally memories trapped inside our body. So I was telling you about when I faced my mom's death, when I really faced it, because I did not want to let go of my mom because I loved her. And I thought letting go of her, even though she was gone, 30 years or something like that by then, even though that was the case, I was like, how dishonoring. And I really felt like if I really, truly, really moved that trauma out of me and let go, that I would like lose memory of her or something. I thought that. Well, that's twisted. And that's not what happened. But I will tell you, when I'm just giving you a heads up, when I did face it, I had two people with me when I faced it. And when I saw that, I said, you know what? I said, you need to leave the room. And they looked at me and I said, you need to leave because I'm fixing to scream bloody murder. I said, I can feel it. I need to scream. I need to yell. And I don't know how long I'm going to do it, but you need to not be here because I bet I might break glass. Because that is how that feeling started welling itself and coming up out of me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't need to witness this. You can hear it, but you can't witness it. And I had a pillow. It's not here now, but a yell pillow that I use with my clients. So I took the yell pillow. But I also yelled just in my atmosphere to get it out of me. And I literally screamed bloody murder from the deepest, darkest thing. And I held on to myself while I did it because, when trauma is trapped in the body, it's inside the body. So I usually put one hand on my belly and one hand either here or the back of my head or something like that because your head also has to do with happening in the body. And I literally just held on to my head and held on to my tummy. And I felt all that pain and all that regret and all that sorrow and all that mourning and all that anger for her being gone. I felt it all and I just screamed bloody murder while I held those points because those are energy points. And what have I had issues with? I've had issues with my brain and I've had issues with my gut too. So you know what? It was a really appropriate place to hold on to. And I just let it all go. And then I wept. Then I wept. And I wept and I wept and I wept. Again, holding on to myself, letting go of. And I'll do a teaching one day on energy and how it stores in the body, and appropriate places to hold yourself when you're basically letting go of things. But today I just want to give you understanding that you've got things trapped inside of you that keep you from moving forward. And the person who has passed away, or the loss that you've experienced, and these most things that are never going to come back, you need to go on, because life is short on this planet. So making so we've talked about memory, we've talked about mourning. You need a new mindset. Not a mindset, okay, fine, I'm just going to move forward. This is not a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am thing. Not normally. But the mindset of a decision, I'm moving forward with calm, with peace, with gathering up all the pieces of pain. And if you have to write them down, write them down. You know, if you have to get like little index cards, or if you have to get like sticky note things and write down pain. If you have to get a notebook where you just start just writing randomly, write, whatever comes to your mind regarding that situation. If you need to do that, do that. Do that. Do something with a new mindset. I'm letting go of this. I am choosing life, and by choosing life, I'm letting go of this. And just write it all out. Write it all out. And then maybe you need to take action with that. Maybe you need to burn that in a safe place. I took all my journals that I knew I knew I was letting go of. I did keep a few journals, but I mean written journals. I literally had a container, like a full container, literally, no joke, of journals I'd written since the 70s. And I looked through them. I didn't read them, but I did look through them. And I went, wow, I am not this person anymore. This is not who I am anymore. This is not where I'm headed anymore. And I wouldn't want anyone to ever read these, because these would not encourage anybody. And I'm an encourager. This is my calling. This is my calling. And so I literally took those journals in that container, and I went outside with them, and I got a water hose, and I just filled that container with water. And then I had some gloves, and I just made sure they were soaked. And I watched the ink just disappear from those pages. And when that happened, I was like, wow, I am letting go. It's disappearing ink, man. Disappearing ink, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. Like literally water washing it away. And I did feel a release. I felt a release of my emotions when that was out of my house. I felt a release of my emotions when I said, that's it. This has got to go. I felt a release of my emotions. And at one hand, I thought, I could use some of this. I could write some books from this. Because some people are still in that mindset. Some people would get that. I could write 365 days tormenting hell, and it would probably become a bestseller with all that junk, because it was quite something. I thought, that's just not who I am anymore. I'm not doing it. And so I let it all go. And so we're on this journey, and we have to have a new mindset in the journey. You have to decide. And listen, we all have issues. We all have we all have some issues that we're working through, that we're dealing with, that we're looking at, that might need guidance in, or what have you. We all have something, right? Well, the mindset is the most important part. And that having that mindset while facing that emotion is going to help you actually get past it this time versus remaining in the trapped place of that emotional turmoil. Depression, despair, disarray, delusion, disappointment, all the D's, man, except for Donna. All the D's can wrap themselves around regret and hold regret captive inside of you. And you may not even realize regret's in the middle of it. So face what's happened. Face it in a practical way. You know, I know people that, you know, are good church-going folk, and every week they're repenting for their regret. And they still feel that pain and that hurt 20 years later. Well, what you're doing is not working, so stop it. Just stop it. It's not bearing fruit, so stop it. It might make you feel good for a week or so, but stop it, because it's not doing anything that's really helping you actually be free. It's just reinforcing the fact that you have regret and you have pain and you have disappointment and you have delusion. That's all it's doing, the reinforcement of it. Instead, really let it go. Like, write it down and say, that's it, I'm done. Burn it up. That's it, I'm done. Water it, just let it drown. That's it, I'm done. And hold yourself with that emotion and let yourself feel the emotion so that it can leave you, so you can have opportunity to have a new thought, opportunity to actually have joy. And listen, that decision to let go of my mom, that was hard. That's like with some of the discussions I've had with people, perhaps widows, that's like, how do they let go of their spouse, you know, that they've been married to forever and ever? It felt like such a dishonor to do it, you know. But you have to choose, and you have to realize you're safe to make this change. You're safe to make the change, and you're safe to heal. And you have permission to make the change, and you have permission to heal. You do. And so the memories, the mourning, your mindset, I want you to grab a hold of a new intention for your internal world. You have an internal world, your heart, your gut, your brain, all the way down to the bottom of your feet. You have an internal world. And your internal world will not change by someone else. It has to change from you. And your internal world will change when you have a new intention. And just like recently when we talked about smiling when you say something. Smile when you speak to me. Smile when you talk to me. Even if you're upset, I want you to smile. Because you're telling your body, hey, it's a new day. I have joy even in the midst of this upsetness. I'm going to have joy. I have joy. I have joy. And you're telling yourself that you have joy even when someone else is upset with you. Oh, and your response is, okay, fine. I'm so sorry. Versus, okay, fine. I'm sorry. You know, there's an intention about you that you can grab a hold of today. And you can little by little by little by little by little start rewiring your brain, rewiring your heart, rewiring your gut, rewiring your internal world. And I would almost guarantee if you did something like this every single day, I mean, what they say, it was like 30 or 40 days to break a habit, something like that. I don't know what it is, but something like that of daily reinforcement. They even say if you do something new every day for 15 minutes, you'll be an expert at it in a year. I mean, there are things you can do every single day to change your internal world, to make you be the person you really want to be, or reinforce the person you want to be, reinforce the person you already are by tapping into that, by bringing it into the now, bringing it into the present, instead of waiting for it to show up, accessing it here now, accessing the new you now, accessing the real you, accessing who you already are. A person who has strength, a person who is bold, a person who has respect for themselves, a person who takes action in their life, a person who is victorious over their past, a person who can encourage themselves. This is who you really are. And if you're not living that life, you've got to make a decision so you can begin to access that real world, that real brave world inside of you, so that you wake up one day and go, wait, oh yeah, I have joy. Oh, I'm not as upset as I used to be. Oh, well, I didn't blow up yesterday. Wow. I mean, these little things that seem so innocuous, they will bear great fruit. And so that's your assignment. Your assignment is to have a new intention. Your assignment is to write down the things that you regretted. Write down these things. Just write them down. Say, okay, I'm going to just do a brain dump and I'm going to write it all out. I don't care if it's 20 pages long. Just write it all out. And then drown it. Or burn it if that makes you happier. Or tear it up in little pieces. Or cut it up. Just don't cut yourself. Or whatever you want to do to take action with the bold decision to write it all out. Because you're respecting the you that you really are by facing it and moving out of it and moving forward. Let's have that new decision. So that's your intention. Your intention is, today I'm a new person. Today I'm safe to make this change. Today I'm healed. And what if we did that? What if we even took it further and said, hey, I'm healed today? And maybe you're thinking, well, I'm not healed, so why would I say that? That just doesn't make sense. That's like lying. Well, no. What it is you telling your body who you really are and telling your body what you really want to see in your life. You want to see you healed. So instead of saying, I want to be healed, how about I am healed? I am healed. I am healed. And I don't mean play games with yourself. I mean seriously start telling yourself that and access that place inside of you that wants to move forward, and then write out the stuff that you regret, write out the stuff that makes you mad, write out the stuff that you've lost, and take some action regarding letting go of it. Take some action with your physical body. Like I said, hold your gut and hold your head and let those emotions flow. And we'll actually do some of that kind of work eventually. We'll probably do that on a Zoom or something, but we'll do some of that work together. Sometimes it's helpful to have someone with you, and sometimes it's just not. Okay. Well, I think that's it for today. I hope that you're encouraged. I hope that you're strengthened. I hope you know that you are well able. That you are well able. Say it with me. I am well able. I am well able. Say it with me. I am safe to make this change. I am healed. I am safe to make this change. I am healed. And say it with a smile. I am safe to make this change. I am healed. Listen, some of you are in deep despair and deep poverty, and you need to tell your body something new because your environment is killing you. Your mood, your mind, the depression, the despair, the darkness, it's weighing you down so much that you cannot even see that it's possible for you to have a new day. That's why you have to be the one to tell your body. You have to say, so I am healed. I am healed. I'm safe to make this change, and I'm healed. I'm safe to make this change, and I'm healed. I am a new person. I am well able. I am capable. I am present. I am moving forward. I am joy. I am joy. I have joy and I am joy. Anyway, I bless you. This is Donna.